Alrighty. Hello everybody. This is Kirusho here, and now, before we begin, let us give a brief little review. In the last part, a number of events have happened. We had Deku, Momo, Bakugo, and Jiro. These four, they went through quite a bit. And the last part was about over an hour, so let me try and run through this fast. These four went out, and Deku and Bakugo were still not on very good terms. 2 weeks ago, they got into a fight, and this was about leadership of the group. Deku is perceived as the leader, and while they were out, Deku found information about what may have happened to a safe zone they went to. And Bakugo, he got to explore an area where his father might have been. This place was said to still have been around before winter, and winter was the time when things went bad in this encampment. Deku ran into another zombie. At first, he thought it was just a regular kid, somebody running around trying to survive in the snow. I mean, it's melting, but it's still around. It's slippery, and he was concerned. This was not a kid, though. It was a zombie that looked nearly identical to a human child. And it just didn't have the hands right. This thing had claws, and the moment Deku realized that it was not human, it attacked. It shot tendrils from its mouth and tried to get him. And whenever Izuku cut those and ran, it had tendrils shoot out of its back for movement. And this was definitely disturbing. Izuku was able to take it down. However, a jaguar was nearby. And Izuku, he got lucky because Momo had a sound grenade on her. And this does mean quite a bit. After they left the area, they went to go explore and talk to another camp of people. They went to a building, found a group who have been threatened by the military and have had them muscle in and take their stuff. They are under the military's thumb. And Deku and his group, they stayed here and watched a deal go down. But Izuku, he saw what happened. He saw men come and try and make threats. They say they're here to exchange medicine. And from what he knows after the encounter, they took some of their people. Deku also met one of the people who were there and involved with the doctor who abducted him, who had him, Setsuna, and many other people. The ones who double-cross you but say they're willing to give a reward. They're scum. And Izuku, he killed a lot of people. He slit a man's throat whenever he pretended that he was going to hand over a gun, used him as a human shield, and then took out other people. And whenever it came to the man who was a part of the doctor's group, a part of her crew, he beat him. He stepped on his hands and toyed around with him just a bit. He even threatened to cut off his hands and feed him to a goddamn zombie. Introduce him to one of those lures that he ran into. And yeah, it's definitely not a good thing. Now, him and Jiro took one of the Humvees. Well, this group, they saw Deku and how bold he was. And they had something to do. They needed to make something look good. Make this look like a cover-up, and like the military, got into a shootout with either their own guys or got attacked by zombies. Make it look like there may have been a choice of abandonment. Not going with the group, or something could have just happened. They gotta make it look good. And they were gonna do that. Though thanks to Izuku, some of these people now know what happened to friends and family. And it doesn't make things better. They're probably gone. And that is bad. Now, we do currently have the group, who they arrive back at base. And the moment a military vehicle does go to pull up, there is where Izuku, he does go to try and put the car in a park. It's gonna stall out. As he does, he just take out the key and turn, climbing out as some people do come walking. And Izuku, he does go to turn, pulling open the door to the back seat, and then grabbing this guy, right now him grabbing him by his leg and pulling him out and tossing him to the ground. And the moment people see that Deku has a guy tied up, they're a lot more alarmed. And there currently is Ochako, who does just stand there. Deku going to bend down and grab this guy's legs before going to drag him into the manor. And people just see Deku. Currently, him with blood on his clothes and a man they don't recognize. And this is a bit of cause for concern. People are trying to ask questions, try and figure things out. And they're actually Ochako. She gives Deku a bit of a weird look. However, he has an expression on his face that shows he's mad. He's really mad. And this, it does sort of alarm her. Currently, Nedre standing next to her and looking at Ochako. The two looking at each other, and Ochako, she's worried. That does not seem good. And there currently is Setsuna, who does come walking down from the roof because of what happened. She thought that they might have had new people, maybe some new allies or people that they can talk to. Or maybe there's a meeting going on with the military. Whatever it is, she wanted to be involved. And there currently are people, they are gathering around a room as Deku, he does stand there inside. Currently doing a few things, Ashes come walking up and turning her head, looking into the room and going to see that the guy is tied up and sitting there on a chair. And people, they do to turn. Currently, her getting a good look at this guy before going to push through the crowd and asking if that son of a bitch is really here. Everyone turning to Setsuna and seeing her rage. And this is not very good. And Deku, he would have turned, looking around and asking if anyone has some water, because he wants to ask this guy a few questions. And there actually is Kendo, who does try to ask exactly what the hell Izuku is doing. Him gonna turn and expressing to them, this son of a bitch was involved with the crazy doctor who hurt them. He knows where she might be, and she might be involved with the military at the dam. They don't know too much. All they know is that right now, these guys have a lot of things to answer for, especially because they said they had power. And that does sort of alarm them. Power? And Deku, he doesn't talk about it. If they all think about it for 1 second, what were some of the places the military were immediately defensive of? They were defensive of large population centers in safe zones, energy grids like the dam. They're also concerned about some of the tunnels, though they're also trying to make sure evacuation routes were safe. They had a lot they were concerned about. Public safety was one of them, but also making sure that everything still worked was still one of them. It doesn't take a genius to figure that out. I'm going to turn. And currently there actually is where Ochako does is stand there, watching Deku turn back to the sky and get a bit more annoyed. Him bringing his hand back and just gonna bitch slap him. Currently Deku bringing a front hand. And the man, he does look at a turn looking back at Deku. I'm a lot more annoyed. And Izuku does it to ask him if he's finally awake. Because he's got a few questions he wants him to answer. And the man doesn't look around, since he's surrounded by fucking teenagers. Seriously? He will look around the room, talking about it. And then he doesn't set his eyes on the girl with green hair, since she is alive too. And that does sort of surprise him. I'm going to express, well, looks like he's in a room full of surprises. So where is he? That's none of your concern. Kid, you have me tied up with rope to a chair. My hands are handcuffed, so Not too bad. Though, you really are stupid, aren't you? No. Someone mentioned power. I'm assuming the dam? That's where you guys are? Never mind. So, what are you gonna do? Hit me? Beat me? Torture me? I mean, what is it? This place is pretty big. Panels? Solar panels? Along with that smell. Hmm. What are you guys doing here? That's for us to know. You know. Nothing. Now listen. There's a forge down the hall on this floor. Either you come clean, or I go over there and I get some hot metal. Or I ask my friend to go do something you really, really won't like. You're trying to threaten me. Really, kid? Deku's staring on, and the minister put on a brave face, his face bloody. And there actually said to them, who would have stepped forwards? Or no, her bring her hand up and pulling her knife, her stabbing it down into the man's forearm as the minister don't scream out. And Deku, he'll get a turn. Everyone expecting him to say something about that. And currently, she does is going to hold the knife there, her slowly pushing it down further and further, before giving it a little bit of a twist and moving it back and forth. The guy going to just grit his teeth and stare at her for a minute. As he tries to lean forwards, Deku bring his hand up, him grabbing his shoulder and forcing him back down into the chair. And he would express, he really should control his bitch. And Setsuna would bring her hand up, punching him directly in the face. And Deku would express, turning to the group, if anyone doesn't want to be involved in this, then leave. They gotta get questions of this guy. Well, they have questions they need answered. Also, this is personal. If they don't want to see it, then get out of here. So what is it? This are your people? Little ragtag group of kids? Survive the winter but can't stomach a little torture? None of you will make it that long. You, kid. Potential. A lot of it. Especially with what's rooting around in your DNA. Everyone turned to Izuku, and Deku would talk about it. He's not special. He can still turn. Sure you can. Doubtful. Listen. I can give you answers. Talk to you. But that bitch, we both know she's crazy. You see, that's the first rational thing you've said this whole time. Currently, this being where Todoroki, him and Momo do to walk away. And there actually is Netere. Netere does to watch on. Tamaki doesn't want to be involved. But this, it certainly is something. And right now there actually is Ochako. Ochako we're going to stare on. Deku making threats towards this man. And it's sort of uneasy to her. She needs to just get away from this. Her gonna leave. And Izuku, he does still stare at the man. Because he wants to know where that doctor is. Where exactly she's set up at. If she's at the dam, he can work with that. He can make a plan. Figure things out. Find out what he can do there. See about taking these people on and find out how well equipped they are. I mean, they can't just send him back. He knows he's alive. Nizuku, he does have options. Things to say. A lot to do. And Setsuna, she does still have her knife. Izuku, turning to her and talking about it. Is she fine dealing with him for a minute? Yeah, I can handle him. Though, her gonna turn, asking Nedre if she can talk to May. If she can get something on the forge. Also, maybe bring by one of those fancy torches of hers. They might need it. And Deku, here's a turn looking at her. Because that wasn't what he was thinking. But I mean, yeah, not my work. Though if they're gonna close up this guy's wounds, they should probably do it fast. She might have hit something vital. Or no blood dripping down and onto the ground. And Deku, he's gonna walk out of the room. Currently, him going to do so and walked in the hallway. Him going to just bring his hands up to his head and trying to think. Because this, he doesn't know. He doesn't know what he's going to do, how he's going to go about all this, how he's going to figure this all out, or deal with this guy. He's he he's seen too much. He was a coward. So now he's willing to talk about the doctor. He's willing to talk about the doctor. But okay, Zuko. This it's not good. It's really, really not good. So what are you gonna do? Torture him? Kill him? Yeah, no, no. Hurting him for information is an option. It's not preferable, but it certainly is one. There's that. Though, what else could they do? Deku just don't stand there. And there is actually where Jiro does come walking over. Her holding up Deku's bag and talking about it. Since he left this in the car. And Deku would have turned, grabbing it and going to hold it up. Thanks. So you have plans? Hmm? You know, you were mad. I don't know what you're gonna do to him, but we can't let him go, can we? No, I I don't think we can. How are you feeling about it? Hmm? Why are you asking me that? You guys walked away. Clearly don't want to be involved. I this is personal. Yeah, revenge. Yeah, I won't lie to you, it is revenge. I don't I get you went through shit, but this is Deku holding up his left hand and waving it out in front of him. And Jiro does stare at his hand, knowing already what he's talking about. She's seen it a lot. She's tried not to stare. And Izuku, he forgets about it sometimes. He just doesn't seem to acknowledge it sometimes either. Though right now, he's shoving it in her face. He's not saying a word. But this, it's evidence of just some of the shit they put him through. And Deku talks about it. He spent weeks beaten. He spent weeks hearing about how they wanted to cut him open, dissect him, figure out how he works. They drained him of liters of blood a week. And that hurt. They starved him, made him thirsty. And they just pumped so much shit into him that for a while he didn't know what the hell was going on. He genuinely was. He genuinely thought he was going to die. And at one point he wanted to. They're one of the reasons why. Why what? Never mind. Just. Listen. We can't trust them. We can't let them go either. How do you think Ochako feels about it? I saw her staring at the guy. I think she's more concerned that you're covered in blood again. Besides, She's concerned because you just brought a stranger in, dragging him by his feet. So, yeah, you and Tokage are getting a bit aggressive. Listen, I get it, but just don't hurt him too badly. Fine. We can try and play good cop, bad cop. Though, if that's the case, you want to play good cop? I'm not sure if I want to get involved in this. Listen, it's either you or someone else. Besides, you want to make sure we don't go too far, right? I'll I'll think about that. Besides, do you know how long we might keep him here? Not sure. Though we might need more duct tape. Or rope. Maybe May has one of the handcuffs. Um, I know where some are. Really? Where? Well, they're in the armory, I think. There should be some pairs there. We don't really have a use for them, so we just toss them in the one locker. Locker? Sorry, just we toss them in that one container, okay? You'll see the one. Right. Okay, whatever. Like I'm gonna leave. And Jiro, since they're a bit sour about all this, and currently there actually is Ochako. Ochako? She's a bit concerned. Izuku's gonna do something bad. Really, really bad. And right now, there are a few things going through her mind. If he's gonna be okay. No, 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 he's not okay. She keeps trying to think. She keeps trying to think that eventually at some point he won't be violent. Eventually at some point he'll not be angry. He won't be mad. He's he's dealing with somebody who hurt him. He talked about it. She knows everything he went through, everything he experienced. This guy deserves it, but she doesn't want to be a part of it. And she doesn't know if that's honestly fair to say. She can try and talk Izuku down, maybe, and see about getting him just, you know, a quick death. Even she understands that. These people, if they know they're here, if they know they fucked with one of their guys, I mean, God forbid more of them, it's not going to be good. It's going to be pretty bad. And that, it does go through her mind. And we do currently have Bakugo. Bakugo has a few things in his head too. Mainly about Izuku. He did it again. He just acted on his own. He used the guy as a human fucking shield. He shot a man. He didn't want to put him down, but they had to die. Izuku, no. These guys are different. Izuku might have a point here. Getting information is good, though this guy acts like a bully. So maybe being a bully is good. Honestly, show Izuku how it's done. If they're dealing with guys who act big and tough, he knows the right way to do this. And currently Bakugo, he'll get a turn. Right now him setting down his drink and pouring another glass. Currently, I'm gonna knock it back and slam it down. Taking a bit of a breath and going to stand. Trying to put on a game face. Him walking out of the room with his face stone cold. And we do currently have Izuku. Izuku, he does it to grab a few things. Currently, him walking by May's workshop and stepping in. And there is reason to ask her one question. If Tokage grabbed the blowtorch, we know her and Melissa turning to look at him. And they do actually turn to look at each other, looking back at him and asking exactly why they need a blowtorch. It's a long story. Listen, whenever I wasn't here for a month? Your abduction. Yeah, I found someone involved. Oh, so they're in the manor. Uh huh. Okay, well, there's metals over there, there's, you know, spikes and stuff like that over there. I mean, I'm still working on a few things, but the blowtorch is over there, but I think they're nearly empty. I might need to figure out where we can get more. But did you need something else? I mean, I got some metal smelting. You can probably use some of the hot scrap. Well, no, I just wanted to make sure Tokage picked one up. Oh, yeah, she did. Why? That's all. Though, I'll come back to you if I need anything. Maybe a little bit more violent. And Deku return. Melissa's staring at him. Her going to express. Are they trying to kill this guy or torture him? Hmm? Oh, we're not. I haven't. You haven't decided yet? Listen, the doctor's hurting people. I've. You've already rationalized it in your mind. If you're trying to scare him, I know something that might help. Though, I'm not sure about it. Her bring her hand onto her bracelet and telling Izuku she's been saving it for a rainy day. Charging it is not easy. It honestly takes a long, long time. Though her charger, it doesn't really do the job. Being here, though, it's kind of good, but she's worried about using it for emergency use. Saving it for desperate times. Though, this is sort of good, I guess. They're just trying to scare him, right? Yeah, well, if that doesn't work. Currently, her going to turn to May, telling her if she can come over here and finish this up. I mean, it's something that they can use next winter. Her gonna walk over and looking at, huh, neat. Oh yeah, I can handle this. Just go. Right now, Melissa gonna walk out with Izuku, and they're actually Tokage. Tokage does just stand there staring at the guy, her knife still in his arm, and she does just stare at him. Him gonna try and express, asking about if anyone else from that little band is here, because he did see a few other people. I mean, what about that one guy? Don't talk about him. Come on. I know he must have been important, right? Classmate of yours? Shut up. I'm just saying. He didn't last too long. We're gonna spit towards him. Right now, him having it smashed directly into his eye. And he does this on turn, trying to blink that away. Talking about how she's pretty hard to talk to. And currently she's a turn, staring back at the man. And he is somewhat trying to move his hands. Her walking around and trying to see what he's doing, since he currently is trying to mess with the handcuffs. And there is where the door does it open. Bakugo going to stand there. And she would turn, looking at him as Bakugo would walk over and see the knife. Him going to grab it and pull it out. Currently the man wincing in pain As he does, go just sit there. I'm going to turn and express. Listen, he's got a few things to say. Okay, I don't want to hear your shit. I'm here to help. Uh, oh, um, okay. What do you get out of this? Easy. I I know what happened. A little blonde bitch boy wants to grow a pair. Bucko turning to the man. And Deku, him and Melissa do to walk into the room. As Bucko, he does get a turn, grabbing the knife and bringing it up to the man's throat, talking about it. If he wants to say that again, go ahead. Besides, they already know they're at the dam, right? They control power, but they don't want to give any. So, how about that? They know quite a bit already. He doesn't know who this doctor lady is, but how about he just comes clean? It'd be simpler for everybody. Besides, Bucko bring his hand up and bring the knife directly over the man's palm, talking about what he could do, along with going down the hall and to the actual room they keep their proper tools in. Besides, they're starting to cut the locks off of fences, some pretty big bolt cutters. What does he think that they can do to a human hand? And Deku, he does stir on. Melissa going to step forwards, holding her left hand up with her bracelet, telling the man, you know, he probably should listen. All these guys are crazy. Who the fuck are you? Melissa. Now, I'm Melissa Shield. That's all you really need to know. Shield. The man looking a bit confused, since he does recognize that last name. And she'll go to express. Right. Bring your hands up. So, he's going to tell them the information they all want. Otherwise, these people might bury him in a shallow grave outside. And he might only be able to fit into a suitcase. If he's lucky. So, what she's going to do is simple. Her bring her hand up and pressing on her bracelet. Currently, this being right on top of it, it does begin to climb onto the palm of her hand. And everyone would go watch as on a second, Melissa's have a nanite gauntlet form onto her hand, before a spike does a shoot up past her fingers. And this large thing, it can definitely be seen. Melissa holding it up and talking about it. You know, this was one of the self-defense tools she made on Island. Her bring it to the man's face and talking about it. Composed of nanites. And it takes a lot to deploy. Once it's out, it virtually takes no power to hold its shape. Though, putting it away does. So, her gonna hold it up, asking the man, exactly what does he think she uses this for? Because it's simple. Currently holding this blade up to the man's neck, talking about it. She can cleave through zombies. In fact, this is a pretty powerful tool. It's designed to do anything she wants it to. Hold the shape and do anything. Just input a simple command. That's all she's got to do. Spikes, swords, you name it. I mean, she's also wondering what it can do whenever forced to expand. It's willing to do that. She can make it look like anything. Has he wondered exactly what a spiral looks like whenever it expands? It's quite interesting. Though, she's also curious as to what it could do to a human chest cavity. Given that these things, they're willing to tear through anything to do what they're told to do. They don't play favorites. And in fact, well, what would it do? Tear a lung? Go through his kidney? Go through his liver? And the man is to stare on. Melissa nonchalantly talking about putting a hole the size of a baseball through this man's chest, since it would expand to be that size of a baseball from probably the size of a bouncy ball. And the man, yeah, other than immediate terror, he's trying not to freak out. And if that threat isn't going to work, Melissa will return. Deku stepping forwards and bring up his zombie knife. Talking about it. Right. So, here's what they're going to do. Him looking at Bakugo. And Bakugo, he does go to stare back at Deku. I'm going to turn back, telling him he is going to comply. If he doesn't, then things are going to get messy. I'm going to turn and set the knife down. And the guy does stare at Deku. Says he doesn't think that Deku has the balls to do it. Has the balls to actually torture him. And he would express, why doesn't he go run back to his bitch? And Deku would smash him across the face. Currently, the man going to try and talk more shit. Trying to tell Izuku, if that's all he's got, then he's got another thing coming. Besides, his people, when they find out that he's gone, they're gonna come looking for him. And Deku smashed him across the face again. And the man, he still doesn't think it's funny. He still keeps trying to talk about it. He won't talk about his people. They might know where they are, but they don't know anything about what they've got. As far as he's aware, their group could be armed to the teeth. They're the ones with all the guns and vehicles. Though, exactly is that true? Izuku, he can tell that something's up. This guy's awfully cheery, awfully happy, awfully concerned. And this means quite a bit. Currently, Deku going to express to Bakugo to step out of the room. Go get some tools from May. And I turn to Melissa and telling her to leave. Because this might be getting a bit messy. And she does this nod. Her bring her hand up and press the button. This thing gonna fall back into her wristband. And she does this on express. She's gonna have to charge this thing again. Since that, it took quite a bit. How much does that thing drain? Oh, um, well, I need to charge it for at least an hour a day. Just so I don't have to charge it all the time. If I try and charge it in one go, it's going to be more complicated. Also, it takes up space. I don't really use it, so... Well, I haven't really had a use for it, but... My charger, I used to keep it on there for like 8 hours a day. But I was using it regularly. So, maybe just... I don't know. I'll look into it. Though... It'd be hard to replicate if that's what you're asking. Could be useful. I know. It could. Though it's one of the last things I have in my dad. If you guys need it, I can lend it to you, but I'd rather not. You understand? Maintaining tech like this is harder now. A lot harder. Izuku going to understand. And currently Bakugo, he has a step out of the room. Currently, this being Chaco, she has a lot going through her head, standing where she is. She's outside, staring at the military vehicle. It's big. Bigger than she thought. She's seen these things torn apart, ripped to shreds, and seeing one intact. I mean, they look better. I guess. But how is she gonna... She can't talk him down from this. She doesn't want to encourage torture. But she can't condone it either. Izuku's gone too far. She'll have to actually tell him this. Actually see what he says. Yeah, no, this is going to be very complicated. Momo, gonna just won't sit down. And Ochako gonna turn. Oh, hey. How you doing? I'm a bit angry with Izuku. Yeah, yeah, I could sort of tell. The guy's not screaming. That's good, I guess. Mm-hmm. Listen, I I get what you're talking about, but you should have seen how these guys acted. I don't want to condone it either, but they mentioned something about power. Huh? What are you talking about? They mentioned something. They might control water and power from the dam, and they're holding out on people. What? Why? Don't know. But until we can get answers to that question, it could be something for us to look into. Look into? So, these guys aren't giving us power or energy because what? We don't play ball with them? I think so. That that's fucked up. Couldn't the energy power the entire city anyways? Wasn't it doing that before? I'm not sure, Ochako. But God, this is making my head spin. Yeah, yeah, it's making my head spin too. Are you angry with him? Yes. How are you okay with this? I'm not. Though, how could you be angry with him, especially after yesterday? Hmm? What do you mean? The walls taco chaco. Hey, I shut up. I'm just saying. I mean, you gotta be cautious or at least courteous of people on the other floor. Well, not even on the floor, the same floor as you. Though, a bit surprising. When did that happen? What? Will you stop? I'm sorry. But seriously though, can you honestly say it's a bad idea? If we get them taken down, might be able to at least talk about this hive thing. Figure out what's going on there. More people can band together and the world can turn somewhat to normal. You okay? No, no, I'm not. I'm just worried about a few things is all. This this was is my home, but it sort of feels different. It doesn't feel the same anymore, I guess. I'm still trying to figure that all out. Right, right. So, what now? Currently, us cutting to Izuku, and the man is still trying to be a bit more aggressive. Still trying to at least talk a bit of shit. And Deku, he does stand there, pulling his hands backwards and smashing him across the face. This guy trying not to budge. However, there actually is where Deku, he does a turn. Him going to grab a pair of pliers and try and tell the man about what they're going to do. Because if he doesn't talk, things are going to get a lot more messy. And the guy, he has a pretty good idea as to what's going to happen. Izuku's going to threaten to cut off one of his fingers. La di da. What about Deku turning and telling Tokage to hold him by the head, hold him by the neck, and make sure he can't close his mouth. And the guy, he's a bit caught off guard. Him staring at Deku and going to smile. And Deku, he has a stone cold expression. The man going to be held by the neck as Bako we're going to watch on. Deku bring the pliers up and grabbing one of his teeth. And he does tell him, Last chance. The man staring at Deku. And Deku, he does begin to clamp down and pull. The man trying to fight and scream out, fighting against his restraints as Izuku, he has to rip out one of the man's teeth. And the man, he has to feel the immense pain currently in his mouth. Blood pouring out immensely. A very large red stream of it. And Deku would a turn, setting down the tooth and then bringing it up again, talking about it. Tell them what he wants to know, and things won't be as bad. Besides, the next thing he pulls isn't going to be from his mouth. Fuck off. Fine. They're going to sit it down, and grabbing his knife, going to tell him, this is going to hurt. And the man, he doesn't understand. Currently, Deku going to stab the knife down into his foot to hold it still into the ground. And he does go to bring the pliers up, grabbing them this time as he's to grab a different set. Ones that are a little sharper. And this, it does mean quite a bit. These are tools meant to pull stuff. I mean, they could also be used for cutting. Though I guess these are what? Well, he's no expert. Hedge clippers, maybe? Don't really know. All he knows is that they're made to cut through some pretty thick branches. So hey, they have multiple applications. And the man, he's going to scream out. And Bakugo, he doesn't stand there outside. Him, with a lot going through his own head. His method didn't work. And this guy, yeah, he's definitely being put through it. The Bakugo, he's... Never mind. Now, with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed. And to have an amazing day. Catch you guys in the next part.